It's the Illegal Elbow Show. Alright, we're back. Welcome to Illegal Elbow Show. Kick it off right here, number 8. Just some funny news for you guys. Interesting, but funny. Vadim Finklestein, he runs M1 Global. You know, you guys have heard the talks about, you know, a couple years back. Brock Lesnar, Fedor, everybody wanted to see it. You know, oh, it's gotta happen, it's gotta happen. So Dana tried to put that together. Vadim wouldn't have it. Whatever the talk was. Because Dana recently, I guess, tried to get Fedor to come in and have a Brock fight. Even after Fedor lost and Brock lost to Overeem, he still tried to patch that together and try to see if he can get it to work. Maybe that struck a nerve in Finklestein. But Finklestein basically is saying that I don't see UFC doing shows in Russia, but maybe once a year, if that. It's different over here. Business is done differently, that kind of thing. But if he wants to come to an agreement, I'm ready to give him my champions to do a show, which he wants them to go promote. Who do you think really needs who when it comes to this? Vadim Finklestein needs UFC a lot more than UFC needs Finklestein or M1 Global. You know, I'm not knocking M1 Global. They might be gigantic over in Russia. I don't know what's going on in Russia. You know what I mean? I really don't. I don't know a shit ton about M1 Global either. It's not on very often to where I can see it. You know what I mean? I used to be on MAV TV. Used to have a lot of M1 Global shows. You know, old ones and new ones. You know, replays and shit like that. You know, and I used to, but I don't have that in my TV package anymore, so I don't get to see it. M1 Global's good. You know, from what I've seen of it over the years. You know, here and there, I've seen some people. It's good. With that in mind, Vadim Finklestein says, you know, if Dana can come to an agreement, you know, I'll give him my champions and we can put on a card over in Russia. You know, he said I can help out a lot with business and stuff like that, you know, and help grow, stuff like that. And I'm like, that's never going to happen. UFC doesn't need, I see them going there and probably doing just fine, but UFC doesn't need Russia. I mean, really, not you know, not to say there's not a, you know, a shit ton of fans that they could go and do a show with and please, you know what I mean? Finklestein may just fuck that up for him, who knows? But anyhow, man, I just thought it was a little kind of some funny news. Finklestein also says that he wants to see every chance he gets, he tries to get Fedor back into the fight game. He says, I think Fedor still has a lot to show us. What the fuck kind of manager is that? The guy gets his ass beat, and I mean, he's not no spring chicken anymore either. You know what I mean? I think him retiring is probably the best idea. I think a lot of people, you know, fight fans out there and know what these guys go through will agree. I mean, it's not him going out there fighting against any kind of competition is not a good idea. It's not a good idea. Whether you know, can make a shit ton of money. I mean, no, you can become a fucking vegetable. That's why. Maybe it's a little drastic, but I mean, there's been cases where fighters a little too long, guys. You're carrying this on a little too long, and you know there's brain injuries to be had. You know what I mean? There's that shit sucks, man. I wouldn't want to see him go through that. You know, I mean, I've already seen fighters, you know, that are going through that right now. You know, I mean, I don't want to make light of it, but I may as well. You know, Gary Goodrich, man, still with it, still has his, you know, faculties and everything, and you know, but things are a little different with him, you know, these days. You know, and he's had a long career, man. I mean, he was there the get-go of UFC, if not before. You know what I mean? I mean, which I'm pretty sure he was fighting before that. You know what I mean? It's anyhow, man. It just kind of pisses me off. It's like Finkelstein's still bugging Fedor to fight. To me, there's no reason for Finkelstein to want Fedor to fight unless he really needs money. You know, and I've always said that they're hogging this fucking guy to themselves way back in the day. They're hogging this guy to themselves so they can make as much money off him as they can, and it seems just like what they're still trying to do. Make as much money off them as they can because of star power. If he came back, of course people would go watch it, you know, and they'd make good money, you know, they'd make good money off of him and everything else, but yeah, it's supposed to be a friend of Fedor's. Sounds like a pretty shitty friend to me, man. Just my opinion on it. But anyhow, man, let's get on to UFC 156. It's a pretty good night, man. Damn good night, actually. Just going to run down the main card. A couple of prelim fights. Pretty good. Bobby Green, man. Some of these fights, man, I called out, you know, who I thought was going to win. And I might be batting about 400, man. Yeah, I didn't do very good, but shit happens, man. Bobby Green, I figured Volkman probably submit him, you know what I mean? Or, out wrestle him, maybe choke him out, submit him. Yeah, Bobby Green just basically does to Volkman what I thought Volkman would do to him, basically. But no, Bobby Green, nice win, man, nice win. Coming in your first fight in UFC, nice way to kick the door in. You know what I mean? Make a statement, say, hey, I'm ready to get down. Because Volkman was pretty good, and bringing the wrestling game to him and trying to get him off of his game. But yeah, it was good, man. Bobby Green did a great job, man. And Tyron Woodley and Jay Huron. I just figured Jay Huron, man, too much experience, But Tyron Woodley, it just goes to show you, man. This guy's still early in his career, 11-1. You know what I mean? He's coming off his only loss. And with this, he makes a big stink, man, in his first fight in UFC, too. Makes a big stink. He knocks out Jay Huron towards the end of the first round. I didn't see it coming. I didn't expect it. I did not. I just basically said, I don't think it's happening. But Tyron Woodley, I gotta, he basically restored my faith in him, that's for sure. So I thought he was great before. Not that I thought he was bad or something, but I just thought he had a lot more to learn before he can really take on a Nate Marquardt. I thought that fight was just totally stacked against him, even though he did pretty good in that fight, man. He did good in that fight. Hopefully Huron will be back. Hopefully he's not. I don't see him getting booted. Damian Maia, oh my gosh. Damian Maia basically what people would call, what your general MMA fan population would call, Damian Maia fitched John Fitch. Totally out-wrestling the entire time. 30-27 across the board. Awesome performance from Damian Maia. I think Damian Maia is getting to the point where, with performance like that, he could be, getting into the area of a total package here, man. His striking's coming together, wrestling's coming together, submissions are there. A little more training on some kicking or something like that. A little Muay Thai. Guy could be a sick opponent for anybody to have to fight, man. Work on his clinch game. Be a sick opponent, man. Alistair Overeem, running his mouth and, whatever. And I'm a fan of the guy, man. I like the guy, so I'm not ripping on him or nothing. But he was doing some talking. Yeah, he did a good, fair share of talking. Silva wasn't digging it. You guys comment and let me know what you guys think. But a lot of people were saying that Overeem didn't look to me like, and I'm not making any excuses, man. Silva beat his ass. Silva knocked him the fuck out. And it's just plain and simple. Overeem just didn't look to me like he was excited for the fight. I think he just thought he's going to roll over Silva. He saw what Kane did to Silva. Well, I'm a champion. He's a champion. Being being that caliber, of a champion fighter. If he just disposes of this guy like this, it's going to be a cakewalk for me. Did he lack in training? Did he? Is he a different fighter now that he's not using the PEDs, or what I mean? No, I shouldn't say he's not using them, but he's got to be using something different. If he is using them, he's got to be doing it in some way different. Because still got to test for it. So awesome win for Antonio Silva, man. Coming off 2 sweet knockout wins, man. I mean, and his striking looks better. You know what I mean? It does look better. A lot of times we see him with some nasty overhand rights, some nasty hammer fists. This one, man, he's combos, both hands. Combinations. Can't be a one-hit wonder, man. You gotta have a full arsenal going on. Throwing uppercuts in there. A couple uppercuts, I think, is what really, let him know, hey, fuck, I'm gonna go down here in a second. A couple overhand rights, overhand left, to the floor. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what's next for Silva, man. I'm also excited, though. I'm kind of bummed out for Alistair a little bit, but it is what it is, man. I mean, sooner or later he's gonna get beat. You know what I mean? We've all, like I've said in the pre-fight video of this, we've all seen him get knocked out before. And here, look what happened, man. I didn't expect it. Fuck no, I had Overeem fucking stomping this guy, man. Totally picked Overeem to win this fight. But that lets me know a little something that, since he got in the UFC and maybe a little bit before, was there a little bit of lack in competition that he's been facing? Well, what do you guys think, man? I think people can make an argument for that. A little bit of lack of competition that he's been fighting. I say if he fought the Verdum that we've seen, in his last few fights, I think that Verdum would fuck him up, man. By what we're seeing, you know what I mean? MMA math bullshit doesn't always work, but Silva's got some hammers, man. He's got some hammers. People can't forget that, man. Antonio Rogerio Nogueira. No. He is he participated, him and Rashad Evans participated in probably one of the most boring fucking sparring matches we've ever seen. There could have been some more boring. At least when Caleb Starnes was running away, you know, at least we were watching somebody run and there was some action. This one, it was just a sparring match. It was like two buddies sparring. Hey man, cool, alright. I'm gonna kick you in your leg, here you go. And then, what the fuck, man? It's a fight, you know what I mean? You know, Dana mentioned that, you know, Rashad's, you know, just doesn't have the steam anymore or something like that. Doesn't have it in his gut or something like that. And it's like, I don't know if I'd really say that. Maybe Rashad wasn't too excited for this fight, you know what I mean? Because it's, you know, him fighting Rogerio. Maybe you felt it was a step back. You know, sometimes fighters got to do that. You know, they got to fight a guy backwards to prove that you can uphold where you're sitting now. You know what I mean? Where you are. You know, if you're in the top 5 or something like that, sometimes you got to take a 6 or a 7 in order to hold your place. It's fair and square, man. Really, it may as well be a loss for both of them, basically. I'm guessing, you know what I mean, and just kind of predicting we're going to see a different Rashad Evans in his next fight, because I think he's going to get a lot of flack for this. Jose Aldo, Frankie Edgar, damn good fight, man, damn good fight. Fight metrics, stats or whatever, had Frankie Edgar in rounds 3, 4, and 5, had him landing more significant strikes than Aldo did. 3 rounds for Edgar in strikes versus 2 rounds for Aldo. That's what they saw anyway. I thought Aldo did enough to uphold the belt. You know what I mean? To keep the belt. I thought Edgar would have did it. Edgar used the same game plan I thought he was gonna. Take him to later rounds, wear him out, and Aldo was wearing out. We could all see that, but he was still dangerous, man. Still really dangerous. There's been talk about Aldo going up to 155. You know, is he gonna be able to bulk up to 155 to take on Henderson? Could be pretty sick, man. Could be pretty sick. It was a good night of fights, man. It was a good night of fights. No complaints here, man. Thanks for tuning in. League of Lobo show. Number 8, we're out of here. And you guys have a good night, man. BAM! It's the League of Lobo show.